Okay, I see us now. All right, so we're live, and thank you, Cedric, for coming on with me. I'm so excited. I'm Shakia Lovett, business coach. We are going to be talking about um, how to thrive, start a online thriving business, part two. And we have our special guest, Cedrick West, who is the founder of CS West and Associates PA. He is a certified public accountant. He's great at what he does, you guys. If anyone can help you guys, he's one who can. And so I wanted to introduce him on my platform. We met a couple years ago. I just loved his integrity, his character, and I just wanted to bring him aboard to help, potential clients or to help people that I work with or people who might need his services. So we're going to get right into it. And he's going to go over a couple things that, from a CPA standpoint, can help you. So I'm going to ask him a couple questions, and you guys, I won't be able to really see the comments, but we can come back later and answer any questions. So my first, oh, you know what, Cedric, you want to say
Yeah,
anything real quick?
sure. Well, definitely, I appreciate you for allowing me to come onto this platform with you to go live and just to give out the information. As we spoke earlier, from business owners, people just need to hear the correct information from the experts. And so this is why we're here tonight to just talk about that. So I'm excited to, speak on these on this topic for you.
Thank you. And I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to help us, become better entrepreneurs, better business owners, and to be intentional. And that's something I talk about a lot, is being intentional, and impactful. And a lot of times when we start our businesses, we don't know what to do. A lot of us are starting from scratch. We don't have no one to really mentor us and talk to us and connect us to the right people. And so that's what I kind of want to do on my platform. As I meet people, I want to introduce people that can help you, especially if you are another business owner, and help you think about things that you probably haven't thought about because you're just starting from scratch, and just to get started and be successful with this online business or brick and mortar, whatever it may be for you, but at least be successful. So, thank you guys for joining us. We're going to get right on into it. My first question for Cedric is, as an expert CPA,
Mhm.
what key information would you give aspiring entrepreneurs to start a business?
Good. I would say the first thing before we even get into like finance and business structure and the IRS and things of that nature, really focus on what is it that you want to do. All right, what type of business you want to open up, whether it's a online business, brick and mortar, and then just think about from this perspective, what is it that I want my business to accomplish? Do you want to grow this business to where you have multiple employees? Your goal is to get over $1 million or whatever the case may be, or is the business just there to replace income or to add additional income as well? Because not everyone wants to own a multi-million-dollar business or to have to look over multiple employees and things of that nature. They just rather, hey, I just want to own a business so that way it could just supplement my income or it could just replace my 9 to 5 job. So that way that gives me more freedom. So the first thing is to determine that. And then once you've gotten that goal and say, this is what I want my business to accomplish for me, then the next step is, okay, I got this idea or this concept in mind. Let me go to a professional, whether, and here's some key people that you definitely need to have in your corner. Definitely, you need to have a business coach, someone who at least know your business well enough to say, hey, either I've been through it before or I help other people in your industry. So I know the ins and outs from from that perspective as well. Make sure that you speak with the business attorney. Making sure that when it comes to, I always tell my clients or people who are looking to start a business, you have two side of things when it comes to like the regulation and the compliance. One is the law side and operation side. So you want to make sure that you get with a business lawyer to make sure that, hey, what I'm doing, the way how I'm operating my business is that number one, is that legal, and also how can I protect my business from it, for any mishaps. And also too, the second part of that is contacting me, someone like a CPA or a financial advisor to just to sit with you to say, hey, this is what your business need from that financial perspective. So and what I say to my clients or my prospects who are looking to start off a business, I go through, hey, what is it that you want to accomplish and your goals? And so after we get to that part, then I'll talk about, all right, so now how are you going to get there? Is it going to be through a loan? Do you have gifts from family that you're going to insert money to the business, whether it's going to be products or selling a service, what have you? What's the financial impact that you need to start off as well? And then also, you know, uh, I get this question a lot. Is they want to open up a business and they say, "Hey, I want to be an S corporation." And I say, "Hey, okay, I know what you hear on TikTok, get an S corporation, save your taxes, XYZ." I always tell people is that just take a step back first. All right, let's figure out what your business can or will accomplish in like the next year or two. And then I give them some guidelines. So I do have like a business startup guide. I know I'll be referencing that throughout the call tonight. And it just kind of give you that guideline of, what's the best business structure, the pros and cons of each, between the sole proprietor, the partnership, the LLC, the S corporation, the C corp. It goes through those things, so that way you know that the way how you want to operate your business, you can do it freely. So that's the biggest thing because that affects how you're going to be taxed from that perspective. And then also, if you're not sure of like which business structure that you wanted to have, it's not always about what you hear out there say, "Hey, I just want to save on taxes," because an S corp may not be right for you
Yeah.
because you have people who may have like real estate businesses. For example, if they buy property that have what they call built-in gains, you may get taxed on that as an S corp. Um, so it's really figuring out, and that's what I mentioned, speaking with that financial advisor or that CPA in this case here, and just talk about what is it that my business going to accomplish. Then I could give better recommendation to say, hey, this is what you could do based on the business structure. And one key thing too, back to finance, you have to keep your finances organized from day one. All
Mm,
right. A lot of times I see the way how people treat their business income, they treat it the same as their personal. And sometimes, you're more lax with your personal
you're
than
right.
your business. So you can't take that same mindset of the way how I treat my personal finances to your business.
Hmm.
Because if you're not keeping good tabs on your personal income, and if you transfer those same principles over to the business, then eventually you're going to see the same effects on the business side as well. So that means what having a separate business bank account, making sure you have good accounting software set up. I mean, there's a lot of software out there, like from FreshBooks, Zoho Books, QuickBooks, what have you. And then also, you have to create some sort of system of how you're going to track your income and your expenses. Okay. Some people, they may just use Cash App, Zelle, or whatever the case may be, or they may have like some inventory system. It's just figuring out, hey, we work together, we talk about it. What's the best case scenario for your business? And also, too, one thing I do like to emphasize even more is just back to the basic budgeting,
Yeah.
okay, and the cash flow management. Because as a business, you're going to have additional expenses, right? Depends on the type of business that you have, and if you have to purchase like large assets, if you like in the rental space where you have to purchase a home, trying to revive it and then resell it, you have to think about that cash infusion that you need to bring into the business as well. So good budgeting and cash flow management is very important when you just starting out of your business.
And though you bring up some great points because like even with an S corporation, right? Like going back to that, a lot of people, like you say, they want to get straight to that S corporation. And what people don't understand is sometimes you have to make at least $50,000 in your business before you even transfer yourself to a S corp. And then the other part of that is you have to be willing to pay yourself. Those are guidelines. You need to be able to pay yourself, whether that's weekly, monthly, whatever, with that S corp. So those are just two things that sometimes could stop you from doing the S corp, or it's not as beneficial. So it's like building your business, building the cash flow, and like you said, managing your money appropriately and having um, those business checking accounts that are separate. So you have your
Mhm.
personal account and your business checking account, and you never want to mingle with the two or mix them. So that's just something that, like, I think a lot of businesses don't think about. And I understand they have Cash App and Venmo and all that stuff, but it's better to have you a merchant account, or like a business checking account where you can actually print out an invoice or send an invoice to a person and have your business be professional. So this is a part of scaling your business and running like a corporation, like a real business. So you bring up some great points. Thank you.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. And even back to the S corp, for example, again, is because they try to, they don't want to pay the self-employment taxes if they're a sole proprietor. But when I tell them sometimes, hey, you have a loss, but you can't take the entire loss, and they looking at me funny, and they say, why? I say, well, have you heard about the shareholder basis? And then that's when I go explain to them that if you're going to be S corp, you also, as you mentioned earlier, you have to be willing to pay yourself,
Yep.
okay, a reasonable salary, and then you can take out distributions. Then also, in addition to that, you have what they call a shareholder basis. You have the cash that you contribute or assets that you contribute to the business, and also you have the distributions that you take out as well. That kind of determines how much of a, if you do incur a loss for that particular year, for example, how much loss that you can incur. So those are the things that they just hear S corp because to save on taxes. All right, let me jump to that, and then they don't understand the full scope of what it takes to run and operate as an S corporation. Then that's when they get those hiccups at the end, and they say, "Oh, well, no one ever tell me." And I would just tell people, don't be afraid to ask. Ask for help.
Yeah.
Find somebody who knows what they're talking about. Just give them a call. Spend that money. If you think about owning a business, just set some money aside to, as I mentioned before, okay, I need to hire a business coach. I need to hire, some like a business attorney. I need to hire a CPA. At least have those first meetings with them and
Yeah.
just understand what's the process, so that way you're not caught off guard when it comes to owning a business, and especially the type of business that you do own or that you want to open up. That could make or break you. I've seen it countless of times. I had my business open for 10 years, and I've seen a thing or two where most almost every time they say, man, if I would have gotten with you sooner, this would have been totally different.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. Knowledge is power. And that's what a
Mhm.
lot of people don't understand. And being informed, and having the right connections. It's so important. And what would you say, like, if a person wanted to reach out to a business attorney, how could they go about looking for that person? Because, like, they're not always good. They're not always looking out in your best interest. What would you say in that instance? How would they go about doing that?
Definitely, I would say start off in your network, see who knows who.
Okay.
And then, if you can't find anyone from your network, then that's when you start to ask around. I mean, I would say Google, but also another a good network that you look into that I don't think most people probably utilize is if you have a local chamber.
That's
Go to those local chambers, find out, okay, who's an attorney here, in the chamber. Just maybe call up a few, and just to ask a few questions. Just interview them as well to make sure, hey, do they know about my industry? Do they have some understanding? You could use chat gpt to say, hey, what type of questions I should ask a business lawyer, and
true.
then you could ask them those questions to see if they're a good fit for you as well. Of course, when it comes to service, the only thing that you do have is that trust. So you really don't know, hey, if this person is really, has my best interest until that time comes.
Yeah.
When it comes to that with service, but I'd say definitely don't be afraid to ask for help, and just understand, from that perspective, you should move differently when you in that business mindset.
Hmm.
So I would say definitely look into your network and also search your local chambers as well if you want to find someone who's good. And also they could, it's like I say, look online, look at Google reviews and see who's the best person for them.
Wow. I mean, you're spilling some gems. I mean, like if people aren't on here, if you have a business, you should be on here learning this information, and if you need a CPA, you need to begin with Cedrick. He knows his stuff. I mean, he's spilling some gems. So I mean, if you share the live, I'd say share the live to people who would need this. Indeed, share and go back and replay this live. So you bring up an interesting point with the network.
Hmm.
And it's funny because you and I met almost over like 9 years ago, you know,
Hmm.
and we said we were going to do some business together. And it was at a networking event that we met. And we just stayed in contact. And so that's the thing. I want you guys to think about this. You might meet someone along the way, and you guys may not really network or do business together, but that first impact is what will decide whether that person decides to work with you further in the future, because a lot of times at that very moment you might not need that person, but years later you might think of that person. You might be like, you know what, wow, this person would be great for my business or for my clients or for whatever project I'm looking at going into. So I just want you guys to be mindful as you're flowing in this business arena or as you're flowing in the professional arena and in the world. Be careful how you treat one another,
Hmm.
because someone that you might meet years before might be someone you need years later. So it's just something to think about. And Cedric and I have always, have talked, and it has been at a networking event. And so they are good things. And it was like in St. Pete, I believe. It was in St. Pete we did
Yep.
the networking event. Yeah. It was on a rooftop. It was really, really nice. We met some amazing people and we just stayed in contact. So I would say if you're a new business, a new person, and new entrepreneur in the area, start networking. Get out there, network, get to know people, and get your name out there. And even on social media, you'd be surprised who you need in your business or who you need help, who you need to help you. So
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
my next question is key points a thriving online business would need from an expertise like yourself as a CPA. And I think you hit on a lot of points, but
Hmm.
I'll go ahead and let you.
Yeah, especially if you are more so of an online business, there are some key things that you definitely need to, in addition to what I said. If you're selling products online, for example, then you definitely need to understand, like, hey, what's the e-commerce platform that you're going to utilize? It's something like Shopify or Amazon or Etsy, because they all have their different fee structures, and you need to understand how they take their cut, how they operate. Because I've seen a lot. I have a bunch of clients who sell inventory and stuff on Amazon, and when they look at how much money that they made versus the fees that was taken out, they weren't too happy about it. But then also at the same time, I was like, hey, just thinking about this, hiring like an employee, because otherwise you would have been the one to have to package up everything, create the labels, go to the post office, send that out. So I mean, you're really buying your time there. Or if you were to hire someone to do that, you'd have been paying them anyways to do that. So those are some things that you really need to understand, like from that perspective. I get into the brick and mortar in a later point, but definitely understand those different platforms. How they're structured, and also how you're going to sell your business as well. One thing that impacts, and this is more so for like product-based businesses. If you're selling products, please, 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 I see this so often when it comes to them not charging sales tax correctly or even not filing the sales tax on a quarterly basis, especially here in Florida. I know different states, they have their own rules as well. So, but I know in the state of Florida, if you're selling products, they don't care if you haven't made a sale. If you are
Yeah.
out there stating that you're selling these products, then you need to go ahead and get registered. Um, yeah, with the state of Florida or whatever state that you're in, to start collecting those sales tax and things of that nature. And so part of, that business startup guide, it goes through that. It goes through, hey, the business structure. And then after you get the business structure, then you go to create your business, and then you go get your EIN from the IRS. Then also, now some counties, I know, particularly in Hillsborough County, we have what they call like a business tax receipt as well. So, depends on what county or city that you're in, you may need that additional piece of document to say that, hey, I need to operate, um, within this county or city, whether you're online business or not. So those are some things that you definitely need to think about. And again, as they always say, cash is key. Cash flow is very key. Okay, it's essential to business. It's essential to when you're going to get paid, how often you're gonna get paid, and also managing those expenses. So, for example, if you have all of your expenses coming out the first of the month, but you don't get paid to the 15th, then you're gonna run into some issues where some bills may get delayed or not paid. So, if you have some customers that you're doing work for, make sure you get paid. One thing I've learned in business is, and doesn't matter what type of business that you have, I always ask for a deposit, because that's me knowing that the customer got some skin in the game. And then even if they, decide to go elsewhere along the line, at least I got paid for my time to doing that. So, what I do, for example, when it comes to, you know, taxes or bookkeeping, whatever the case may be, I usually have like a 15-minute free consultation, right? That's all like my free time that I give to you. But if we say we want to do business together, and I say, hey, here's the cost. Also, hey, here's my deposit. I'm not doing anything until I get this deposit and this engagement letter is signed. Again, that's another thing too. When I mentioned about making sure that you reach out to an attorney as well to have them to look over your contracts, that's another thing. Two things one of my business mentors told me. He said, they're not a client until they made payment, okay, and then also that contract is signed. If those two things haven't happened yet, I'm not touching your tax return. I'm not touching your books. I'm not doing anything until those two things are done. And once that's done, then I say, okay, we can move to those next steps. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna have people. They're gonna say, yeah, 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 I pay you, I pay you. Can you do the work first, whatever the case may be? You do the work, and then they skedaddle elsewhere, or you waste your time, and then they are a headache, and then you realize that, man, I should have never gotten this client. I should have gotten paid, or I should have paid them more, or I should have charged them more. Whatever the case may be. But that is key, because at the end of the day, you don't run a charity, and even if you do run a charity, you have to get some form of revenue in first. So I'm passionate about that, as you can see, because I've started off with just doing work with people, and then next thing you know, I was like, hey, I haven't got paid yet. Haven't heard from this person, anything of that nature. So that's one of the things that I always look at as well. It seems like I lost Shakaya here, so I'm gonna wait to see she come back on. But other than that, I'll just keep talking. I do see some of the comments that's coming in as well. So definitely, if y'all have some questions in the meantime, you can ask those, and I can answer those until Shakaya jump back on. So let me take a look at these comment section here. Yep, Jayla. Yep, yep, 100. Yep. Uh, Kay. Yep, that's very true. They're not a client till those two things happen. And like I say, it's a business, and so you're not in the market of doing things for free, because you're trading your time, and also you're trading your talents, for that particular service as well. All right, then also another thing too to consider is your long-term tax strategy. Let me see. Let me read
I
that.
apologize, y'all. My computer went out, but I'm so happy, Cedric, you continued it. Congratulations. I
Yeah.
love it.
No, no, you work out. Sometimes those things happen. So, you just got to keep thinking that, hey, let's just keep going.
You did
Eventually
amazing, man.
you'll
Good
come
job.
back
Good
in.
job.
But yeah, that's those are things I was just talking about. That would help you thrive, and also too, um, just creating that long-term strategy of how you're going to grow and just making sure that you're going back to your core values and your goals as well. And then also in addition to financials, it's just all about how you want your business to operate. How do you want to be perceived? So whatever culture that you create in your business, just think those are the type of people that you're going to attract. So if you're giving out one, cents and you get in those people or those clients and those are not the clients that you want, then maybe you need to change your approach. Or
Ooh,
if you finding yourself that, hey, for some odd reason, I keep attracting these types of clients. So if it's something that great, those are the people that I want to attract, great. But if not, you got to figure out, okay, what is it that I'm doing or what is that I'm not doing that's attracting these people, if you want your business to thrive and grow.
wow. I love that. And it's interesting that you say that because sometimes we don't understand from a business standpoint that you are attracting people the way you market your business,
Hmm.
depending if you have not did the appropriate research to see what type of client you really want to work with, then you're going to attract everyone. So in your business, you want to make sure whatever your ideal client is, you want to attract them only and repel anyone else. So I love that. That's great. Great, great, great. Awesome. Okay, so number three, what are some structures or things an entrepreneur needs to put in place to be compliant with the IRS? What would you say? I believe you touched on
Hmm.
something regarding that as well.
Yeah, I would say, once we get to the point where you figure out your structure, we all know, well, a lot of people, they don't like taxes, they hate the compliance part of things, but that's something that's going to, keep your business afloat. All right. Um, I always get these people who say, or they make all this money and then they toot their nose up when I say that, hey, you have to pay taxes. They say, what for? I'm like, look, you made over $100,000 and you never paid taxes at all. Your business, in the way you set up, you need to pay taxes. But that's going to keep your business running smoothly. So as long as that you're compliant, that you're doing the things that you need to do. Again, it also depends on the type of business that you have. Make sure you have your up-to-date certifications. So if you're a food truck or if you're in the food industry, make sure you have your self-serve certifications. Make sure those things are up to date. Make sure that you have you wanted a clean establishment, or if you're, CPA or an attorney, make sure that you pay your fees on time. Make sure you do your proper due diligence and getting those continuing education credits. So those are the compliance things from the operating side, but also from the tax side of things. If you have, you have your income taxes that you need to pay. All right. And then also you have to think about if you are selling products, then you have to think about sales tax as well. And then, in addition to that, I have seen a lot of businesses who, this may be like a no-brainer, but get your EIN number. I've seen a
Yeah,
lot of people who have their business and they're using their social, and I'm like, a lot of the forms, they're asking for your EIN or your social. With the way how the world is today, I don't want to. I want to give my social only to the ones who need it, not for everyone to see.
that is
So
true.
that's very important, to keeping that compliance. And also another thing too, especially in the state of Florida, your annual business filing.
Yeah,
Okay, make sure you file that before the due date, or otherwise you're going to pay an additional $400. You
yeah,
know, uh, and then also again with the sales tax, depends on how much that you're making. You may have to pay that on a monthly basis or on a quarterly basis. Make sure you know the due dates, and that's part of getting with a CPA or someone who's knowledgeable in that field to guide you on. Hey, here's the due dates for these sales tax. Here's the due date and when you need to file your taxes on time. Don't call me a day ahead or a day off when taxes is due to say, can you get that done? I'm gonna say I can't.
yeah.
um, trust me, that happens a lot. People call me the day before, "Hey, can you find my tax?" And I'm like, "Absolutely not." Um, you know, if you sign an agreement and pay the deposit, I could extend it for you, but I'm not going to get that done in one day because I have other clients that I need to work with. And also, too, if you are collecting sales tax, make sure you send that sales tax over to your state Department of Revenue. They have software that can do it for you. Okay, like Shopify, Square, QuickBooks. Use that service if you can. Just pay the extra few bucks and just let them handle that. I've seen that too, where I had business clients that come in and say, "Well, yeah, I can handle that," and then next thing you know, oh, I forgot to file 2 years of sales tax,
Yeah.
and because they thought that they could do it, business started to grow and things just got out of hand. So those are some of the things that I definitely need to keep them into compliance. And then another big area too is payroll. So if you have employees, um, in addition to making sure that you're paying them correctly on time and everything of that nature too, make sure that you are paying the payroll taxes. Now, I said all that because those are three different, entities that you have to deal with. All right. The way how the IRS treat you for federal taxes is different the way how they're going to treat you for payroll taxes. All
Mm,
right. And then that's going to be different the way how the state of Florida, in this case, or your state Department of Revenue is going to treat you for those sales taxes. Okay. Typically, what I've seen from the state tax side, um, they're not as lenient as like the federal tax, like IRS and things of that nature. And then even within the IRS, they're not as lenient when it comes to like the payroll taxes as well. So
oh,
it really depends on you knowing, hey, what are some things I need to be compliant on, and let me get with someone. Either they handle that for me, or you keep good tabs on making sure that those things are done. Because if not, and I'm just speaking from experience and what I have seen and what I have to deal with, and called in the IRS and trying to work out a plea deal with them, or to work out, hey, can I get up on a payment plan? Or, hey, can, writing letters to them to say, hey, it was a mistake, or whatever the case may be. They just hired me to be their CPA, and, blase, blase, just trying to get that rectified for them. Um, and I know as a business owner, especially as a new business owner, I mean, because I was there too, you just start up your business, you focus on trying to get revenue, trying to get clients, trying to sell your products if you have it. And staying compliant can be overwhelming, and sometimes if you miss one thing, then that could be like a domino effect as well. But just having the right people in your corner, it can make your job a lot easier.
mhm. And I like that. And to add to that, because that was a part of one of my questions, like with the person who may have that business who have not filed with the Department of Revenue, um, in let's say a year to 2 years, could you still work on their behalf and help them get up to date, even if they didn't really make money? Because I know, like with the Department of Revenue, even if you don't make money, they want you to file,
Correct.
and just file, letting them know, hey, I didn't make any money this quarter, or this is how much money I made, and this, and then you send your money over. But can you work with them, into getting like working out a deal or something like that with the IRS?
Yeah, definitely. I've done that plenty of times. I've done that from the IRS side, and also even from the State Department of Revenue side as well. I had
Okay.
a client. He didn't file his. Well, he thought he was filing his sales tax reports to the Department of Revenue in Florida, but it turns out that he didn't. I think he had another CPA who was supposed to do it, but somehow there was some mishaps. But I was able to represent them and get that file, and trying to just bargain with them to say, hey, this what happened. Here's the situation. Can we reduce some of the fees if you can? They're more. Um, I would say they're less resistant on reducing those fees if you have a professional working with you. From that perspective, because we know the code just as them, and sometimes even better with some of the representatives who I spoke to
Of course.
in the past. But if you have someone on your side to just say, hey, look, you haven't did XYZ, but yeah, we can represent you from that standpoint, and just to get it cleaned up as much as possible.
Awesome. Well, this is great. And thank you so much. I believe those are all the questions I have for you. You hit on a lot of topics. a lot of things, giving a lot of gems. And you guys, if you have a business or if you're thinking about starting your business, you definitely want to go back and replay this live if you didn't get a chance to watch it. Replay it from the beginning because Cedrick goes over a lot of things and he's a great CPA. He knows his stuff. And so if you do need to get with him, Cedrick, are you accepting new clients? And how can they contact you? I'm sorry, you guys. I have little people in the background. I apologize.
Yeah, definitely. I am accepting new clients as well. So the best way to get in contact with us is go to our website, cswestcpas.com, and you can book your appointment. And then, let's just talk about it. Just tell me what's going on. We just put up a plan together and just figure it out. And I believe that we have a good, easy process. Whatever services that you're coming for, I get a chance to speak with you for a few minutes over the phone, and then we work out a deal of like, okay, based on what we talked about, what are the next steps that we could do. So we put the plan together. Then once we both agree on a plan, then we just start working that plan, and just trying to get that done as quickly as possible. So like I said, I understand how it is. I mean, I've owned I owned this business for about 10 years. So I was there just starting out, and just growing the clientele, nervous, about going out there to network or even go live on Facebook and things of that nature. But then I just had to get over it. I
Yeah.
just had to get to a point where I'm like, either I'm just gonna sit here, be afraid, and let other people go out here and do this, or it should be me. And yes, it should be me because and I am the right person for this. And so if you're contemplating about that, just tell yourself that hey, it should be me. Definitely go out there, do things right. Don't do things bad to people because it will come back.
Yeah.
Because I have clients who used me before for services, and then they left to go to other services, and then well, a year or two later they came back, and they said that hey, I really appreciate you because what you were telling me and the way how you service me is really good. And so, and I had that happen plenty of times
Yeah.
through my years in business as well. And also, as you stated earlier, Shakay, is that we, we met about 9 years ago at a networking event.
Yeah.
And yeah, even though that we didn't do work immediately right then and there, not everything is going to happen quick, fast, and in a hurry. A
Yeah.
lot of times is that, maybe you need time to grow, and maybe that person needs time to grow as well.
That's
And
true.
maybe, y'all need to go through some experiences to come back for us to say, hey, you know what? I built my business to this point. You built your business to that point. Hey, yeah, let's work together. So keep that in mind. And Kay, again, I appreciate you for allowing me to be on this platform um, as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to more live sessions with you. And definitely, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Thank you. And Cedrick, I'm loving this too. I think that we need to do a part three or something like that. Because I feel like you have a lot of gems that we can really come out and help the people with. And so that's the good thing. Like you said, why not you? It should be you. You know what I'm saying? It should be us. So why not? You just got to sometimes step out of your comfort zone. And I put a post up about God stretching us.
Hmm.
And sometimes, in whatever season you're in, sometimes it's God's way of stretching you. Will you feel comfortable? No. But sometimes it's that time to move. It's that time to scale. It's that time to go bigger and better. And so God has a way of stretching you. God has a way of connecting you to the right people if you listen. And that's the
Yep.
thing. If you're willing to do the work, take action, and listen, let him guide you. And I can't say everything I've done. I have My thing has been putting God first. And am I I'm not perfect, no, but God has a way of stretching you. And in this season, I encourage you guys, no matter what's going on, if you are looking to become an entrepreneur, get with someone. If you don't know what to do, if you don't know how to figure out your purpose, or what you feel like you want to do, you were meant for something more. You just don't know what it is. You're gifted, you're talented, but get with someone. you know um If you have a business and you know everything isn't flowing the way you want it to flow, you know you're not caught up on your taxes and things like that, get with a CPA, get with someone. Don't feel bad to reach out. Why let your business drown or die when you could have reached out to someone in time to get the help that you need? And so I felt like this platform, it's needed, because I feel like, especially as African Americans or Black Americans, we don't network and we don't have the resources that we need. We don't connect and really build resources and really become successful and thrive in our businesses. So this is why we wanted to share this platform, get on, share knowledge, help and encourage and inspire and empower in any way we could. And so that's what tonight's session was about. And thank you so much, Cedrick, for coming on once again. And you guys, if you want a part 3, let Cedrick know. You know what I'm saying? Let him know, because I think we need a part 3 of this. And like I said, if you guys need him, I'm gonna have Cedrick. We'll put his information in. I'll put it on all my platforms so you guys can reach out to him. Thank you guys, and y'all have a good night. And we will keep you guys updated. My goal is to go live weekly, so I will keep you updated. If Cedrick is wanting to go live again, guess what? We're gonna bring him on. Okay.
Also, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I mean, it's a lot of things that we could talk about, especially even my journey of this 10 years, this last 10 years. I think those are some things that people need to know as well. So I mean, I'm definitely looking to we can do a part 3 and just talk about that. Go through your journey,
Okay.
go through my journey, and that could give people the encouragement. As you
So,
mentioned, hey, you have little ones in the background. I have 3 as well, and I'm still making it work. So,
you are so right. That is so true. And people don't think about that. Like, life happens. You have life, but you can't let things stop you. Life be life, and sometimes, let's be honest.
yeah.
But you can't let it stop you. You have a purpose. And when you have a purpose, and when God has called you to do something, you just gotta do it. And so this is amazing. I'm grateful, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to even be on this platform with Cedrick to talk about this stuff, to encourage you guys, empower and inspire, and just to give knowledge. You know, you see us, but you like he said, a lot of times you don't know the journey. So I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you again. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to even more live sessions with you all. Um, yeah, I'll be now I'm here. I know you're gonna share my information out. Just give me a call. Don't be afraid to ask. And thank you again.
All right. Have a good night, you guys, and thank you, Cedrick. Have a good night.
No, you're welcome. You do the same.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Bye.